What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Logistical Response. Now, right off the top, transparency alert. Okay, I lied in my last video. I'm just going to outright say it. I lied. I said that my next video was going to be about the Biden administration outright lying about how many jobs. Well, I was going to cover that story, to be honest with you. But I forgot that, nope. And you might be thinking, hey, didn't you say the other day that you record one video for that day and then you press stop and then press start again and start recording the one for the next morning? Yes, I did say that. And yes, I did forget in that short amount of time. The 23 minutes. It took me to record that video. I forgot. Sorry. It happens. I usually have several stories pulled up that I'm going to cover, and I pick, which one do I think is the most important, the ones you guys would like to know more about. So I'm sorry. I'm not covering that one because there's one I think it's much more interesting than just learning that, hey, guess what? The government lied to you. I mean, we already know the government lies constantly. And we already knew the Biden administration was using COVID job numbers, to downplay Donald Trump's administration and upplay theirs. They were using people coming back from work as new job numbers. Maybe that's why they were off by 1 million. Don't know. But let's get into the other story that I had. Check this out, y'all. FTC ban on worker non-compete agreements blocked by a federal judge. This is great. Once again, the Biden administration is trying to micromanage everything, y'all. They are suing for all kinds of garbage. These non-compete agreements are good to have. They're very good to have. They protect the business like you wouldn't believe, but we'll get into that. Let's get into the story. A sweeping federal ban on non-compete agreements, which was set to take effect for tens of millions of Americans nationwide on September 4th, is now permanently on hold. In a ruling Tuesday, a federal judge in Texas upheld a challenge to the FTC rules banning non-competes, saying the government agency lacks the authority to put the ban in place. And once again, we know this. Any longtime viewers of this channel understand that, judges can be normal, that the Biden administration constantly tries to overreach its authority, right? And sometimes, you got to ask yourself, are they going to try to enforce this anyway? Because once again, the Biden administration was told, hey, this student loan forgiveness program, you can't do that, by the Supreme Court. And they said, you know what? We don't care. We're going to go figure out another way we can do this. We don't care about that. And there's been several other things that the Biden administration just simply does not care. That, or they'll sue to try to change state laws, keep people off ballot. It's all kinds of just garbage coming out of the Biden administration. It's insane. So this is no surprise. An estimated 30 million Americans, 1 out of every 5 workers, are employed with non-compete agreements in industries ranging from tech to fast food. The FTC argues the agreements stifle workers' ability to switch jobs and earn higher wages. I would agree with one of those, but the other one? No, absolutely not. Earn higher wages? What the hell are you talking about? Once again, these people don't seem to understand how business works. Nobody wants to hire somebody that has no experience, put time and resources in, because it costs a lot of money just to hire somebody. That's outside of paying them a wage, right? Paying them a salary. It costs money to file paperwork, to get all that garbage done, right? And then you're going to go and train this person. You put time and effort, lots of money into training somebody. Then they get trained. Then they have experience. And then they go to this higher paying job. They just quit your job and go over here to get more money. That's wrong, y'all. That's BS. And hey, if you're willing to sign that non-compete agreement, then you should stick to it, for crying out loud. These people don't care about integrity. That's what that is. That's integrity. And I say that because, you sign this non-compete agreement, you got to stick by it. If that's the company's rules and you agree to it, then you should absolutely stay in there. Hang in there. This company will give you a raise if you do better. You can't use this company to give yourself free training and free experience like it's a free college or something like that just to go somewhere else. That's just wrong, and people that do that lack integrity to stick it out with this company over here. And go, hey, if you're not making enough money, go to your employer and ask for a raise, for crying out loud. Just crazy. I mean, that might be a weird take, but that's how I feel, right? Like the Biden administration stepping in and doing this, saying you can't sign a non-compete agreement, right? Like this is an agreement between a company and a worker. Has nothing to do with the federal government whatsoever. So once again, the Biden administration shoving its nose in where it doesn't belong, trying to micromanage every freaking thing. Just, come on, federal government, stay out of our freaking business. That's all I ask. That is all I ask. Right? So you get rid of these non-compete agreements. Now people are going to be skeptical about hiring people because why? Because you don't want to spend thousands to hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to hire and train somebody if they're just going to quit and go somewhere else. That already happens enough without having to worry about if you're running a free college here. But the Biden administration, once again, thinks college should be free because they think that communism, that central planning works. Yeah, that's what they think, because that's what we're slowly on a pace. I mean, we're already a mixed economy. We already have a lot of socialism, way too much socialism for my liking, in our economy as it is. Don't like it whatsoever. Social Security, yeah, a social safety net. That's what that is. That is socialism, folks. Subsidizing the oil industry, subsidizing all this green energy BS, subsidizing farming, for crying out loud. Socialism. That's what that is. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to raise taxes, y'all. It's just crazy. I'm not trying to get on a tangent, but I love my tangents. I'm sorry if you guys don't like my tangents. I love my tangents. I can't help myself sometimes. I just love to talk about just how insane the Biden administration is. And, honestly, another quick tangent. I don't know what I'm going to do if Trump wins the election. If he comes in and starts doing a bunch of dumb crap, then I'll be right here railing and gnashing my teeth about it. But if he comes in and he's a pretty good president, I don't know what I'm going to do, y'all. Like, I'm not going to have a job anymore railing against Trump. I mean, that's my whole job here, is railing against the Biden administration. That's the whole reason I started this channel. Mostly because the corporate press is lying about what the Biden administration does. But, sorry for the rant. But let's keep going. The FTC rule would have meant that anyone applying for a new job could not be forced to sign a non-compete. For workers with existing agreements, non-competes would no longer be enforceable. Insane. The decision from the U.S. District Judge Ada Brown means those changes are effectively blocked. In a statement to ABC News, FTC spokesperson Victoria Graham said the agency is seriously considering a potential appeal of the decision. Once again, folks, you gotta love the Biden administration spending more of your hard-earned tax dollars on junk, on absolute garbage. This is what the Biden administration does. We are spending in a $1.7 trillion deficit. Yeah, we need to cut the fat somewhere. And stuff like this is the first to go. We are disappointed by Judge Brown's decision and will keep fighting to stop non-competes that restrict the economic liberty of hardworking Americans, hamper economic growth, limit innovation, and depress wages, Graham said. Yeah, they do none of those things. Non-competes do none of those things except restrict the economic liberty of workers. You love how they put that, the economic liberty of workers? Yeah, because if they agree to sign something, that they sign that agreement. They need to stick to that agreement. If they don't want to sign that agreement, then don't freaking sign it. Go somewhere else. There's probably dozens of people that would love to have that position over you. So if you don't want to sign a non-compete, once again, this just blows my mind, the level of micromanagement the Biden administration is doing here. Like, it really does none of those things. Restrict the economic liberty? Really? How? These people they just insane. They just throw out all these buzzwords and make something stick. Like, most low IQ people would listen and hear that and be like, oh yeah, it would restrain the economic liberty of hardworking Americans, wouldn't it? It sounds nice, don't it? But what does that actually mean? Economic liberty. Huh. Think about that for a minute. The lawsuit was filed by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce along with a Texas tax firm which argued that the rule was too broad and that the FTC overstepped its authority. I happen to agree with that. The decision is a significant win in the Chamber's fight against government micromanagement of business decisions. Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. A sweeping prohibition of non-compete agreements by the FTC was an unlawful extension of power that would have put American workers, businesses, and our economy at a competitive disadvantage, U.S. Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Suzanne Clark said in a statement. Yes, I agree with you, Suzanne Clark. It absolutely would. It absolutely would do all those things. The Biden administration doesn't need to be sticking its nose in. Right? Like, they even said it would restrict innovation. What? What was their actual words? Let me go back right quick. Limit innovation and depress wages. What? How is it going to limit innovation? Like, I just, I'm an internally curious person, right? Like, people say stuff to me all the time, and I just, my first response is always why. Just outright, like, why? Like, somebody says, yeah, I think I want to go to college. And I'll just say, why? Because I love the responses from people, right? Most of the time, they have to sit there and think about it. Like you didn't know the answer to that already or something? You have to think up reasons on the spot? Like, what are you doing with your life if you say something and then have no idea why you say that? Like, you have to think of reasons why you just said that. What? Like, do people just not think about before they talk? I guess that's the case, y'all. I guess that is the case, because that's what that sounds like to me. If I were to go up to Mrs. Graham, or whoever that is, Victoria Graham, Mrs. Graham, and say, why does non-compete agreements hamper the economic liberty of hardworking Americans? How does it limit innovation? I bet she couldn't answer that. I bet you money she couldn't answer that. The Biden administration is filled with incompetent people, right? Like, we saw that video, I played it several times, of, I forget the guy's name right off, but he's an economic advisor to President Biden. Asked, well, if we just print our own money, why are we borrowing money? And he went on about a minute of we definitely print money, and we print money, and we issue bonds, and it was nuts. It's like, I wish the corporate press, these news articles, I wish they would do their damn job. When somebody makes a statement like that okay, they put out all these claims, ask them why, and then put that in your damn article, for crying out loud. I mean, don't you think people want to know this? But that's not what the corporate press does, folks. Once again, the corporate press, their sole responsibility in this world is to tell you what to think, right? Because, once again, it's all suggestive. They just tell you the statement. This is what a person of authority says. This is what they think. And don't explain the rationale. They rarely explain the rationale. So what does that tell you? Well, this is what an expert thinks, so I should think the same thing. But that's not how life should work. People should be more curious. People should ask why a whole lot more often than what they do. A whole lot more often than what they do. And this is something real big I've noticed since I started doing this. Like, before I started doing this, I didn't read the news, folks. I did not read the news at all. And once I started reading these articles, I noticed a trend. I noticed a trend very quickly. They give rationales, they give all these explanations, and don't say why. They do not say why this is the case. Why this is your rationale for whatever you said. They make blanket statements and don't give an explanation at all. So that tells me that these people they either don't ask or they don't put that explanation in the story for some reason. Don't know why. But I think they don't even ask. I think these people just get the statement and then put it in there because that's going to make you think that that's what the expert said, so that's what you should think too. And you should think like these people. That's what they want you to do. It's brainwashing. Once again, it's framing, folks. And that's what the corporate press is good at. They're good at framing things, right? Like, you've got people in this country. As a matter of fact, Joe Biden just said it the other day that Donald Trump called neo-Nazis and white nationalists good people. He said that at the DNC. Like, no, dude, that's been debunked a long time ago. Look at the whole interview, for crying out loud. But he knows. Joe Biden absolutely knows that Donald Trump condemned the white nationalists totally. As a matter of fact, that was his exact words. I'm not talking about the white nationalists and the neo-Nazis. They should be condemned totally. That was what he said. But there were good people on both sides. The peaceful protesters was who he was talking about. But the corporate press, they can't sell that. They can't paint Donald Trump as Hitler if he said he condemns neo-Nazis. They can't do that, so they have to leave that out. And then all these other people just pick up that lie and run with it. So you got to pay attention to these people, folks. Even pay attention to me, because I get stuff wrong too, right? I get stuff wrong all the time. Even though I do try and come out and say, if I'm wrong, I try to recant and say, look, I got bunk information somehow, or my opinion was way off, blah, 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 blah. I usually do that down in the comments section. I'm not going to make a whole video about it, but like I did at the beginning of this video, I lied in my last video, so I had to come out full transparency mode and say, look, I'm sorry. If y'all was expecting a video about the jobs report, I apologize. My bad, y'all. But I think that's all I got for this one. I've rambled for quite a long time. So, y'all let me know what y'all think about the micromanagement of the Biden administration in this bitch. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.